This is the podcast Your Spiritual Shift with hosts Jennifer Matthews and Carl Gruber. Your Spiritual Shift podcast. It's a show based on their online program of the same name. That's where Carl and Jen guide you to remember and implement into your daily life the truth about who you really are, a child of all that is, your source. We invite you to join Jen and Carl for each and every episode as they explore in depth the teachings and principles of true non-dualistic spirituality and their practical application. You can live your life without the ego's lack, attack, judgment, and guilt, and thoughts of sin, and replace them with truth, unconditional love, innocence, pure joy, abundance, and a unity of purpose. Now, here's Jennifer Matthews and Carl Gruber with Your Spiritual Shift.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome once again to the podcast, Your Spiritual Shift. I am Jennifer Matthews, and along with my co-host, Carl Gruber, we do this podcast in support of our upcoming 12-week-long program, also called The Spiritual Shift. And we are excited to discuss the principles of true non-dualistic spirituality, the law of attraction, and all things that help you to enlighten and to awaken from the craziness of this world at the moment. One of the things we also love about this podcast is that we have some incredible guests on the show, and today is absolutely no exception. Carl, would you like to introduce our special guest to us today?
Oh, man, thanks, Jen. And yes, I am more than happy to tell you about today's guest, Renee Marcou. I have had the awesome privilege and honor of knowing Renee for a number of years now, 8 or 9 years now, something like that, Renee. And considering her young age, she has already achieved some amazing career successes. Renee is a master law of attraction life coach and entrepreneur. She is a podcaster herself with her own show, Namaste with Renee, and she is a director of the online program called Iheart Academy. Not only does she work individually with clients seeking to expand their awareness and create the life they desire, but her Iheart Academy also has a program that will certify you as a life coach. I think that's really cool. Renee is also, there's more, Renee is also a master yoga teacher and super talented singer with many professionally produced music videos on YouTube. Hey, that's not bad for a young woman who's only 30, originally from Boston area, now living in Southern California. Welcome, Renee.
Welcome, Renee. Now, I want to ask Renee, how can somebody that is 30 years old have done as much incredible stuff as what you have and now be a life coach, an entrepreneur, and a singing career? Where does all that drive come from at that age?
So just so you know, I love that you guys think I'm 30. I'm 32 now, but I will accept 30 at all times. But honestly, I was a little girl coming into this world knowing that for sure I was here to use my voice. And I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit within me. My parents are both entrepreneurs, my grandparents as well. So I always kind of had that ambition, that excitement to get out there and put my work out to the world and really help people. That's why I came here. I know that I'm here to serve humanity through my voice. So I said, okay, music it is then. And then I started pursuing a music career by the time I was 15 years old, recording in amazing, recording studios in New York City or in Boston or LA. And then before I know it, I'm like, okay, life coach, I want to do that too. So I brought that into my career as well. But yeah, I always, when I have something that comes to me and something that resonates with my spirit, I say, okay, I'll go out and put that into the world too then. And I'm a very, very spiritual person. So when I have that, like kind of, how would we call it? Falling into your lap kind of a feeling. It's like, okay, this is meant to be, so let's do it.
So you've been tapped into your spirituality from a very young age then?
I would say, yeah, my grandmother actually put spirituality into me in a very young age. So I always believed in the magic of life. But then I really started my own spiritual journey when I was 18, learning about the law of attraction. Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you about that. And as I mentioned earlier, Renee and I have known each other, but I love how the law of attraction came into your life, because from what I've read and talked to you, you were pretty shy when you were a young girl, right? And all of a sudden you blossomed when you found the law of attraction. You spoke to your grandmother. Didn't she give you the secret or something like that?
So it was my aunt who gave me the secret. When I was 18 years old, I was about to be moving out to LA. I just graduated high school. My mom was all about me going into college and getting a degree, but I was all about, I need to go and pursue music. So I kind of did some schooling on the road and throughout my life at this point. But I was heading out to LA. She took me out for lunch, like as like a good luck lunch. And she said, here, she gave me a bracelet. She gave me this book. And she said, you need to check out this book. And then for me, I was like, whoa, I have control over my life like that. Because I was raised in such an exact opposite way, in the sense of, it wasn't that like the people around me were ever trying to hurt me. They were only, knowing what they knew best. Like my mom, my dad, they were instilling all these beautiful beliefs in me, and how to treat other people, and, how to be an entrepreneur, and how to bring your message to the world. But I was a painfully shy little girl. So when I was pursuing a music career, I had to face so many of my own challenges of even just feeling comfortable having a conversation with a stranger. Like even in school growing up, I was like painfully shy to even raise my hand in class. So it's so like, it's funny to my family members, because they're like, look at Renee. Like she was like a little girl hiding behind like my mom's leg and like my aunties. And then here I am like speaking and putting out programs and singing on stage. So
you
yeah,
really
I know what you mean, Renee, because believe it or not, I'm actually an introvert through and through. I am very, I need that recharge, that internal recharge. And I think a lot of people that are spiritually connected are. But people say to me, they go, you're not an introvert. How can you do everything that you're doing and still be an introvert? But you can be an outgoing introvert. But when I was younger, I was really shy. Like you, my brother was the outgoing one, and me, I was the one that was sort of like within my box. I was really, kept to myself. And so it's amazing how you can blossom as you get older, and you can really start to expand on those other qualities in yourself that allow you to really open up to the world, especially when you've got a gift and you've got a purpose, and you know what that purpose is, and that purpose can take a while to actually discover. I was just speaking to someone the other day, and he's just turned 60, and he's only just discovered his purpose. So I applaud you at such a young age to know what your purpose and value is in this world. So the law of attraction, you got the book The Secret, and you've been following that ever since, obviously. That's something. Yep.
So when I was 18 when I got the book, and that to me was that was the life changer for me in that moment. But then it just kicked open the door. It wasn't like that's the only thing I've ever invested my time and energy into. Like I was like, okay, what's next? After reading The Secret, I was like, who else knows this information? Like, how can I learn from the other authors that were in the book? Like, how can I learn more and more and more? I just got so hungry. And then I was like, I need to share this with the world. And so that's what I do in my coaching.
Well, Renee, Jen and I are going to be teaching a course of the same name like this podcast, Your Spiritual Shift. So I'm curious, we know that you are totally all about the law of attraction, and I know you're very spiritual. How do those two intertwine in your life? How do they play a part in your personal life, and where has it taken you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I was actually talking with somebody about that last night. So it's so great that it's coming up again. For me, I look at spirituality in a way of, it's not that I put any titles on it that make it, that it's like persuading, where like I grew up with, I use the term the universe, higher power. I have a relationship with God, with Jesus, with Buddha, like with angels, these other sources that are outside of myself, but also within. that I really connect with. And so for me, I didn't grow up having that. I knew there was like the magic that I was telling you about with my grandmother that instilled that in me. But for me, when I started to really pursue what spirituality looked like for me, I had to go back and look at what I was raised with God. So like the term God, and like I was saying, I believe in God. But yeah, so I really do believe that spirituality and law of attraction definitely need to connect. So I was just sharing this recently with a friend last night, and we were talking about like having that spiritual piece to the law of attraction. And why I feel like it's so important is because I do believe that there is a part of the law of attraction and manifesting that we have to do the surrendering. So whether you call it the universe, God, goddess, Buddha, Jesus, all that is higher power, source, whatever that is, that spiritual part of who you are, as long as there's a bond and a connection there, that's what I encourage in people, in myself and in clients and people that I work with.
Yeah, it's like I run the Superconscious Success brand, and that's all about connection with your higher self. Is that connection with source. And the interesting thing is that I had an experience yesterday, because once you actually start to connect with your higher self and with source, you start to trust, and you know that things are going to work out. And I had an experience yesterday that I almost came flat into a big 2-thing truck, and I'm driving along and I'm going around the roundabout, and this truck was supposed to stop because I had right of way, but he decided not to. And I thought he was going to turn left at the roundabout, and so I was about to keep going until I heard this voice that said stop. So I stopped in my tracks in the middle of the roundabout, and he kept going straight through and missed me by about this much.
Wow.
And if I didn't have that connection with my higher self, with source, then I wouldn't have been hearing the messages that were coming across. And I think these are the things that are really important, is that once you do connect the two and you trust, like you said, surrender to the higher powers and recognize that they're there to allow you to have the best possible life that you can, to learn the lessons that you need to learn. And it takes away that fear. Don't you find it takes away the fear in the world?
Yes, absolutely. I so agree with everything that you're saying. Like it removes that part of thinking that we have to do everything ourselves. And when we come from that space, and maybe we want to put out a program for, somebody, or we want to help somebody, but we think like, oh, we can't because I don't have that much faith in myself or like in my product. But when you surrender it over and you say, okay, universe, speak through me, source, speak through me, it's no longer about you. And that fear dissipates.
Yeah, and this is how I've managed to do the summit, because it's all source just going through me. That's it. That's how you manage to do 9 interviews in one day.
Exactly.
And because if it was just me, it wouldn't be the same. But once you actually have source that is working, as I like to say, as a divine partnership, we work together, and then you can create anything. And you know that what you're creating is what was put out there for you.
Absolutely.
And Jen, what Renee was talking about spirituality, and Renee, this is in harmony with what Jen and I teach. Is we talk about being SBNR, spiritual but not religious, and it's a great way because it expands your consciousness, gets you away, because so many of the world's religions have been dominated by dualistic, ego-driven paradigms of guilt and sin and shame and judgment. And when you just believe in source, and like you said, it could be Allah or Buddha or whatever, it's all the creator. And when you do that, it brings a lot of things into harmony and focus, and drops away those ego-driven paradigms that have limited us in so many ways.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, totally. Now, Renee, you've got Iheart Academy, and you've got a Manifest Like a Boss program. Can you go into that for us for a little bit?
Yes, for sure.
Very cool.
So the Iheart Academy, we've got a few things going on inside there. I've had my business since, is it 11 years? I think we're working on now. And I've worked with clients one-to-one, groups. I've spoke on stage. I've worked with people in rehab, with people in recovery, just basically anywhere I'm called to, I'm going to go. So then the last few years, I decided, okay, I'm going to start putting everything online so I can really be available for more people and reach, however many people need the message or the work throughout the world. And so I put together the Iheart Academy, where we do one-to-one coaching, group coaching, and programs. So one of the programs that you brought up, Manifest, I have a community on Facebook. It's now called Manifest Your Best Life. And people go in there, and it's a private community. We go and we talk about law of attraction. We talk about manifesting and all that good stuff. And so actually recently I just offered everybody in that group and everybody who are my followers on all my social media pages to join me for a free mini series on manifesting. So so it's called the Masters of Manifesting mini series. So that's going to be happening, which everyone here is welcome to join. I don't know the dates when this is going to be coming out, but I can send you the link, of course. There's going to be recordings and everything as well. So that's the mini series. And then I also have a program where people can download and go really deep within to learn the keys to manifesting. And
well, of course, a part of your Iheart Academy is you now certify life coaches, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that program?
Yeah, absolutely. So that program came through to me from Source in the universe. And I just was like, you want me to be certifying people? Okay. I never had that on my radar in the past, but I'm like, all right, there's something to this. And I actually ended up launching it right at the beginning of the whole world pandemic. So people started coming to me who wanted to do what I was doing, and not just for clients, but also for themselves. So people go through the program to really, they'll gain their certification as long as they pass the exam and all the other requirements, but they're gaining how to even just have a better outlook on life for themselves too. So all the students who have went through, they've all become, I'm waiting on one to be certified, but they're all have been certified, and they're pursuing a life coaching career. And it's just amazing to watch. I should actually be doing my next launch this spring because a lot of people keep coming to me, and I like to do them live. I like to be interactive with everybody and really get the questions out of people. Because I want that ripple effect to be created. So however, if they're, struggling in certain areas and they're not getting the information, then the people that they're going to be affecting aren't going to get it either. So I'm like, let's do this together as a team. To this day, I speak to my students probably at least once a month at the very least, but I talk to some of my students, every other week. So it's not like, we're in it, they get certified, see you later, good luck in your career. It's like, you still have me a part of your team, and I'm going to be always helping them and guiding them and doing what I can for the students too.
Well, I'm going to kind of give a little testimonial there for Renee. I mean, first of all, Renee and I both graduated from the same coaching academy program in 2012, and that's how we got to know each other. But a few years ago, you'll find this interesting, Jen. Renee actually coached me on some financial abundance things, and and she even has my testimonial on her website. Within within a few weeks, my finances went like this, and it was just all genuine, real stuff that we both knew. But when you work with a coach, it's like having another set of eyes. They can see or understand things that you're too close to. You can't see the forest for the trees, and she cleared the way for me. So that's my testimonial.
Oh, thank you for that, Carl. Thank you.
It's awesome.
Fantastic. So Renee, with the law of attraction, there's there's a lot of misunderstanding about how it works. And, you know, you have some people and they go, oh no, I don't want to work with the law of attraction. And it's like, whether you want to work with it or not, it's happening. What do you think are some of the most misunderstood aspects behind what people think the law of attraction is?
That's a great question too. I love that. So I think there are a lot of misconceptions about the law of attraction because of the way people perceived it when it first started becoming mainstream. So that was like quite a while ago at this point. I feel like majority of people, if we even mention the term law of attraction, a lot of people are going to know, or at least know, like have heard about it by now, I would say. But definitely some of the things that I hear from people, because I'm an observer too. That's part of my whole life of being shy. I was always observing everybody. But I observe like a lot of what people say about it. So I hear people saying like, oh, like, how does that even make sense? Like, if I can just sit on my couch and start to manifest stuff. And I'm like, no, you're missing like a huge piece to the law of attraction. Like, yes, are there going to be times when you can sit on your couch and maybe, you know, pull up something on your phone and maybe make a great investment, and then the next day, like, you have, you know, an extra 100 in your bank account? Yeah, that kind of stuff can happen. But if you're asking for things that require action, which most of the things that we ask for do, we still have to get out there and do the work. And that's something for me that I feel a lot of people, not a lot of people, but the people who don't fully understand it, they just think it's like wishful thinking. And it's like, no, it is so real. And another thing too, that people, I find, they're like, oh, I don't believe in that stuff, but it's just as real as the law of gravity. And we're all on the earth because of gravity, of the law of gravity. So it's like, it's not like you said, whether or not people want to consciously work with the law of attraction, it's happening. So you might as well take advantage of it, because the universe, the source, wants you to use these laws, you know, wants you to be able to create a life that you love living.
Exactly. And I think that one other thing that they don't understand is that the law of attraction is just one of the universal laws. And there are so many different laws, and they all go by different names depending on who you're talking to, but they all mean the exact same thing. You know, and law of attraction is actually a secondary law. It's not a primary law. And so our primary law is actually law of vibration. And so being able to move your vibration to a higher level to be able to attract everything that we're desiring in our life, it's really important to understand those principles as well. Because law of attraction is very well known now. You know, you mention law of attraction, they go like attracts like. So, which is true. And but there's the missing pieces, I think, of the other universal laws, the cause and effect, and all of the other ones that go along with it, transmutation. And so I think that's one of the other things that can be misunderstood with that as well.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Sorry, did you want to?
No, go ahead, Renee.
I was just going to say, when I speak with people about the law of attraction too, it's like, that is basically put, it is like attracts like, but when it comes to manifesting, that's just exactly what you said. It's like, it's saying, okay, like wherever I'm at is what I'm pondering, what I'm focusing on, what I'm thinking about, like that's what I'm attracting to me. But it's so much deeper than that, because it is about your vibration. It's about your emotion. It's about how you're feeling in the moment. It's about, you know, what are some things going on in your mind that are preventing you from, you know, attracting what you want. So it is so much deeper than just the law of attraction. And that's another great point. I was, of course,
you know, I'm a professional silly. I was going to say, I'm surrounded by so much light and love here, I should have sunglasses on. So you two are awesome.
Seriously, Carl, you're so corny. It's funny.
Professional, corny, silly guy. Yeah. But, you know, Renee, I am going to get serious for a moment here. I really, you know, this is the weirdest time, at least in my lifetime, and for most of the people in the world. How do you think more people can practically integrate true spirituality, law of attraction right now more than ever to overcome this chaos and craziness and try to maintain some sense of peace?
Such a big question, Carl.
Yes, it is.
Immediately what comes to me when I hear this, and I know that there are people starving for this information, truly. my whole belief about the way that everything just kind of circulated and started to become everybody's experience on the planet was for a big shift for all of us. So that for me, spiritually, I look at it as a gift. And I know that's very confusing to people when people are passing away and people are getting sick. And, you know, we're just so trained to be in fear right now.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, find a way to disconnect from what everybody else is talking about around you, especially if it's based in fear.
Especially the media.
100%.
Yeah.
I have cut out the news long time ago, because it doesn't, you just know why. I don't even have to say it. People, you'll get it. But when we're looking for an outside source via a human person to tell us what we need to be feeling, doing, experiencing, navigating from, we're disconnecting from our spirituality. So not to say that we have to ignore. I'm not saying ignore and brush everything under a rug, but I'm saying give yourself time to just disconnect from all of it and really go within for your answers and go within and look for the gift of what is happening right now in the world and know and try to find something within yourself, whether it's your passion or whether, you know, you're feeling that you have more time that you can do stuff, you know, that's more important to you, and kind of look and help yourself make that shift from focusing on all the things that are painful and fearful and the unknown, and really look into the things that you do know, the things that make you comfortable, things that you're grateful for, you're appreciative for, and your spiritual practice, really connect there and see what you can do to elevate yourself and then elevate other people on the planet who may be suffering.
That's a great answer.
I honestly believe that all of this has happened as a way to awaken our consciousness, because people were sleeping, literally sleeping with their consciousness. And so this was like a wake-up call to say, come on. And the interesting thing is I see the universal consciousness expand, and I see the people are starting to really tap into that spirituality, because they don't have anything else that they can do. They're in lockdown, or they're separated from loved ones, or whatever it is. So they have to go within.
Yes.
And I believe that's one of the reasons this has happened.
Me too. I'm really so with you on that for sure. I've talked about it a lot last year, especially when people are becoming so panicked. And it's like, listen, we get to be home now. We get to look in the mirror. We get to have everything else just kind of slow down around us, so we can really look at ourselves, you know, instead of like, going out and filling your mind and time or with, you know, things that are, maybe they don't have to be harmful to us, but things that are distractions. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Now here we are.
Probably one of the most common sense answers to this whole craziness. Thank you for that, Renee. You know, I'm going to look at another one of your amazing talents. As I mentioned in the introduction, Renee does a lot of amazing, wonderful things. Now, you are a yoga master and you teach classes. And how has yoga benefited you in your life, and what role does it play in your life? Has it helped your life?
100% yes. When I was going through my training, I was going through a major transition in my life. I was letting go of a lot of stuff that was painful to me. So when I was in my training, I was not only just using my body to release energy, I was using my mind. I was journaling. I was crying. Like there's that period of time I probably cried the most in my whole life. And it was a 6-month course. And it was every other weekend. It was a 200-hour program, but just being there and like, I knew I had to work through my own stuff so that I could be more pure in my practice for myself and for those that I'm going to be serving and have. And yoga there is a little bit of a thought process around yoga that you need to be flexible, that you need to have already practiced or been a gymnast as a kid. You don't. Anybody can walk into a yoga class, like, you know, check in with your doctor first if you have any medical conditions or anything, but you can walk into a yoga class and gain so much just by sitting there and breathing. Like you don't have to be doing all these advanced asanas, which means the poses. And, you know, depending on, you know, I know people are watching this from all around the world. So find a yoga spot that, or if you're doing it online, like a virtual course or class or anything, find a place that it feels good for you, that you like to walk into, that makes you feel safe. And yoga teachers are trained to do that, are trained to open their doors up and, you know, love you right from the beginning, help you feel connected and, you know, a part of a group. But it is really all about you and your mat. It's about you being with yourself, and you're working with the breathing. So that's got so many positive effects that happen, right? When we're focused on breathing and coming to the present moment, you're working actually on your body. So you're helping other organs in your body, like maybe shift a little bit. Maybe they're like if you have some certain pains in your body, maybe certain poses are going to be helpful for your body. Even doing twists. Like I was in a class with my best friend. She's a teacher in Central Florida, and I was in her class about 3 weeks ago, and we were doing twists, and I have not done twists in a while. And I just felt like I felt taller after. So it's like, it has such a positive effect on your body, and not only just your body, but your mind and your spirit. I mean, being in a room with other people who are almost in a prayer state of consciousness, if you will, it's a very beautiful experience.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I love yoga myself. I don't get to classes as much as I would like to. But it is something I find to be highly therapeutic. Like you said, you know, you're around people that are almost like in that really that state of prayer and that state of being with their spirit. It's a beautiful place. Is there a particular type of yoga that you are particularly drawn to?
Honestly, it goes by where I'm at in the present, because sometimes I'll be going through like a shift, or I'll be like facing challenges and I need a restorative practice. Other times I'll need a hot yoga class so I can just sweat everything out. Other times, it's so funny, like I have such a yoga body from yoga, and I'm so grateful for that. But I like don't even go to yoga to get like to have a different look of my body, or like to be toned or to be fit. Like I go there for so much more. And it's just like, just so happens we get stronger in class, you know, because it really is a fitness workout. And that's actually a lot of people who are in gyms. I have a lot of friends who are bodybuilders, or they're just like they're health conscious, or they're at the gym all the time. And they are even like, when I go to a yoga class, I'm like sweating more than I ever would just walking into a gym. So it's like, there's so many benefits to it too.
What I love about is your yoga and your law of attraction, your spirituality. It all meshes beautifully. And I have to say, you know, watching you blossom as a coach over the years and everything, it's worked out really, really well. And, you know, I do have one question here. Since you have this life coaching certification, why should somebody become a life coach? What would you tell them when they ask you about it?
Well, I definitely know it's for certain people whose souls have been called to the journey, because it's definitely not for everybody. You have to have this passion and this desire within your own self to really want to go and pursue it, right? Because it's one of those things that's like, you don't go to, I can't say this is for everybody, but you don't really go to like an academy and you're like, here's my resume, like hire me as a coach, like you would maybe like a therapist, or maybe, you know, like any other type of job that is more traditional, right? Like you have to put your work in to attract the clients that you want to work with. Like you have to be your own boss to really sit down and create programs for people. Like you have to be, and the big why is so important to that. Like, why are you even wanting to be a coach anyway? And how big is that for you? Is that going to get you out of bed in the morning? Is that going to get you excited to show up to your computer? Because being a life coach and having that experience of one-to-one or one-to-group or one-to-many, however you become a coach, you have to really walk your talk, and you really have to have your tools and your spiritual toolbox, I call it, and really be able to use them if you're in a vibration that's not going to serve somebody else. So you always have to do your checking in on yourself. You know, it's a lot about the internal, and like I was saying, like, I'm there for my students forever, but there are certain times where, like, I'm not going to get a text until they're done with a call. So they have to know what they have to do in order to be able to serve their clients best. And it is really about helping people. It's watching people become the version of themselves that they ultimately want to be. And once you get a taste of that, for anybody who's watching and wants to be a coach, once you get a taste, you will want to keep doing it more. It is extremely rewarding for yourself, and extremely rewarding knowing that you've made an impact on somebody's life that is going to last their lifetime. And there are definitely other careers that do that too, but this is certainly one of them that I feel is right on the top.
Wow.
Well, that's incredible, Renee.
We also have to tell people, I mean, we mentioned this earlier, but truly Renee Marcou is an amazing singer. And I really suggest that people go to her YouTube channel, just type in Renee's name. Jen just saw one of her videos of a beautiful song called A Long Way From Home, which is based on an unfortunate true story in her life. And what a beautiful video, but you do have others. So just right, YouTube, Renee Marcou.
Yeah, you can YouTube me, put it in on, if you're on Facebook, you can put it on Facebook. I try to post all of my videos on all of my outlets, even Instagram for people who don't have Facebook, or, you know, I guess you could always go to YouTube. But yeah, it's my music that's out there right now. And actually, if you don't want to watch the videos, I have music on like Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and stuff. Yeah, so if you have those apps, you can just pop my name in there and hear my latest album.
Excellent. I'll have to do that after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can, Jen, maybe we can put the link to her song "A Long Way From Home" at the bottom of our YouTube channel when we do this. It'd be great.
Absolutely, we will do that. We'll put all the links at the bottom of the video. And so, if anybody would like to get in touch with you, Renee, can you give us all of your links and everything so that they can get in touch?
Absolutely, yes, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
Fantastic. So do you have a website at the moment, Renee?
I do, yes. It's iheartacademy.com. So
okay, and that's got all your contact details and everything on there as well.
Yes, and you can find all my social media outlets. I'm posting, honestly, at least once a day. Instagram, Facebook, I'm posting every other day. I have a community on Facebook. There's a lot out there, and there's a lot that I love to do and a lot that I love to share. Yes. So I'm on social media probably. I don't go on there and scroll. I go on there and post and, you know, answer questions or comments and things. But it's been amazing because it's such an awesome way to serve people.
Yeah, it is.
I found personally.
Renee Marcou on Your Spiritual Shift here. And it's been awesome, Renee. Love you a lot. And thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Renee.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great chat, and we've learned a lot. And thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. You both helped me feel such a high vibration. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to have been here.
Your Spiritual Shift, the podcast, is based on the program of the same name and is taught by your hosts, Jennifer Matthews, a certified naturopath and spiritual counselor, and Carl Gruber, a certified law of attraction life coach and spiritual counselor. Join us for each podcast as we explore in depth how to practically implement and integrate into your daily life true, non-dualistic spiritual practices to live a more enjoyable life based on the reality of your innocence and unity with your brothers and sisters at the source of all that is. Much love and light to you. Until next time, my friend.